Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Vienna Live with Simeon Moore and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded and distributed live stream, please go to the LinkedIn live video feed, the link to which I've just placed in the chat room. Tonight, our featured guests are Janis Siegel, a jazz singer, and jazz pianist, composer, and arranger Yaron Gershovsky. Their new album, The Colors of My Life, a Cy Coleman songbook, will be the subject of tonight's show.
Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft. And I've got no defense for it. The heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, that wicked witchcraft. And I know, although it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to.
Welcome, Janis.
Oh. Hi.
Janis, so tell us a little bit about how you met Yaron. This seems, we just saw the cover. This is quite an intimate affair to be making a duo album with somebody. Tell us about how you met Yaron.
Well, it was across a crowded room. No, not really. Yaron has been the Manhattan Transfer's musical director since he's been in the band since 1979 and music director since 1980. So that's how I know him.
Okay, Yaron, welcome.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Tell us, how did you meet Janis? Was she on the other side of a big room?
She was on the other side of a very crowded room. No, well, we met when I joined the band, and mind you, it's been 45 years ago. So
yeah, Manhattan Transfer just celebrated its 50th anniversary.
Yes, and I joined in '79 the band and toured with them all that time, and being such a plenty of time to know somebody and to create a certain relationship. For me, I must say, Manhattan Transfer became like my second family. And also simply because we spent so much time together being on the road and away from my family. So this was my family as well.
And Janis, can you tell us a little bit about the group for those of us who don't know the Manhattan Transfer?
Of course. The Manhattan Transfer started in 1972 in Manhattan. And it's 4 people. It's a 4-part vocal group. Myself, the original members, Laurel Massey, Tim Hauser, the founder, and Alan Paul, have dedicated ourselves to putting four-part harmony back into the zeitgeist. And during that time, we've won, I don't know, 11 Grammys or so. And yeah, and toured all over the world and done 25, 30 albums or so. But yeah, we've been performing. We just did our last concert December 15th at in Los Angeles at Disney Hall. Yeah. So.
Okay, before we get more into that, let's listen to another track. This is Being Without You.
Being without you is being alone in the world. Solitary rooms, just cold and empty space. With chairs you've never sat in, beds you've never slept in, silence never broken by the sound of your laughter. The night before, the morning after, thinking about you and feeling apart from the world. Who in all the world could ever take your place? Not eyes that barely know me, arms that never held me. How I need the music that I found in your laughter. The night before, the morning after. So what do I do to fill the time in between the phone calls? Read another book, watch another movie, walk the malls, climb the walls. Dreaming about you is knowing there's love in the world, counting every breath until I see your face. Without you, every room's without a view. I know I'll never grow accustomed to a night before or morning after without you.
So, Yaron, that sounds like an excellent song to be on this album. Without you, you spent 45 years now, of almost 50 years as part of this Manhattan Transfer, as you said. This was your family. Tell us about making this new album and why this is the first album that you made with Janis right after saying goodbye to the Manhattan Transfer.
Well, Janis and I were talking after one of our shows, and over a drink, and we were talking about our relationship with. We discovered that both of us actually work with Cy Coleman, and Janis can talk about her part about working with Cy Coleman, but my relationship with him was during the show City of Angels, where he had a quartet of singers, and he wanted me to write vocal arrangements for that quartet in the style of the Manhattan Transfer specifically. So that was the start of creating this project, and we worked over this for a period of a few years. Pandemic was in the middle, that kind of put everything to a halt. and the record was released in June of this year. So it all started over a conversation over a drink, and here we are.
Janis, tell us a little bit about that. So it's this very nostalgic moment where you guys are saying goodbye to this Manhattan transfer and having worked together, and you decide, okay, we want to make this album. Tell us, what was your experience?
Well, I mean, I've been doing solo work for a very, very long time, and Yaron and I have done separate projects before. This is not the first thing we've done together. We've done a lot of work together. Sorry, what was the question? The question was
tell us about how you made this album. What is it?
How we made the album.
Yeah,
okay, we
mean
started
to
the
you?
album. We started the album before Manhattan Transfer stopped. As Yaron just said, before the pandemic, we did 3 cuts, I think, at Yaron's house just to see what was going on, see how it felt. And Yaron wrote 3 wonderful arrangements, and we recorded them. And then we had to stop. And then it seemed like the perfect project to roll out after the transfer stopped touring, So really, it's just an outgrowth of this whole relationship. It's not anything new for us to be working together. But we did, the point is that we both worked with Cy Coleman. And that cut you just heard, Being Without You, that's the first and only recording there is of that song, because I was part of an ensemble in 2002 with Cy Coleman and Alan and Marilyn Bergman at the Kennedy Center to sort of workshop this whole bunch of new songs that Cy had just written, and that was one of them. And I remembered it as being a superior and very special song. So I presented it to Yaron, and he agreed, and he wrote the beautiful string quartet arrangement. And it was great to finally, record that song.
Yeah, Yaron, and this was Cy Coleman was very important to you, if I understand that you had this strong attraction to his music, that this working together on the musical was really a very special event. Is that true?
It's very true. The musical City of Angels was shown on Broadway in the early 90s. And to work with Cy was an incredible experience, because I heard and I knew who he was before then, but working with him, I discovered the genius of Cy Coleman, and the genius of his is not only writing these beautiful melodies and beautiful songs that are catchy, and many of them became standards, like iconic songs in the American Songbook, but also his spontaneity and his creativity on the spot, as you know, in a Broadway show. All of a sudden the director wants a few more bars of music before scenes, and the choreographer wants, I need just 16 more bars here. And he would go to the piano and come up with great stuff on the spot, which I admired so much. And also he has a big heart, very kind, very nice person, believe it or not, because many times geniuses, can be not so nice. But he was a nice genius. So it was an enriching thing for me with Cy, and to be a part of this. And this musical got, I think, quite a few Tonys as well. So it was the first thing I've done on Broadway. So that was a nice first, if you want to have a first thing on Broadway, it was a very nice first.
And Yaron, and why do you, if Cy could do everything himself, why is it that you think he wanted to get you involved, that he wanted you to collaborate with him?
Well, I think that regarding the quartet vocal arrangements, it was obvious that he assumed that since I've been working with a transfer, at that time it was only 14 years or so, that I've been working with a transfer, that I will have a very deep knowledge of what they're doing. And few of them, I wrote a few arrangements for them, but basically he understood that being so close to them would allow me to have a better understanding of what he was looking for, in a sense of having the sound of the Manhattan Transfer in the show. So So I was lucky that I was working with Manhattan Transfer, and therefore I got the call to do this. So it was a nice chain of events.
The sound of
And
the Manhattan Transfer is basically close harmony, a close 4-part harmony. That's our sound. So
and Janis, where did that come from? Yaron, did he develop that, or how is
no,
that?
he didn't. He didn't develop that. We started in 1972, and that was our idols were the Pied Pipers and the Merrimacks, and all the close harmony groups that sang with the big bands and stuff. And I wrote a lot of the early arrangement, a lot of the arrangements. Period. And Alan also wrote a lot of the arrangements, and we based our template on the Count Basie sax section, actually. So it went soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So
Okay, let's have a listen to another song. This is Playboy's theme. So Yaron, tell us, we just heard that, excuse me, Yanis.
sorry, I was getting into it, So
And Yaron, so tell us now that was the closed part harmony that Janis is talking about, is that right?
Exactly. But this time we achieved this sonic image with two voices. It was, of course, Janis, and we needed help with this. We called Aubrey Johnson, who is a friend of both of us, and she sang. So basically, the 4-part harmony was divided between Janis and Aubrey, and with the magic of the studio, we created this 4-part harmony, and the sound of the Manhattan Transfer, unmistakable sound. So yeah, that's how it happened.
And Yaron, tell us, excuse me.
Janis introduced the song to me, and it evoked memories of like right away for me, like the 70s sound of Neil Hefti, or the theme he wrote for The Odd Couple, this kind of a groove, and it in a very vivid way, it brought me back to the 70s when I saw the show, the Odd Couple.
yeah,
So,
definitely. You have commissioned Cy Coleman to write that for his TV show. That was the point. It's the TV theme.
Are there any questions or comments? Dr. Davis?
Very enjoyable. Keep it up. I like that music. My type of music.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Davis. Excellent. And Yaron, just briefly before we move on, over these 45 years, and then now when you hear that 4-part harmony, that closed harmony, and all that, what do you does that have now a new future? Is there some place to develop that still, or when you hear that, is that simply nostalgia?
There's always a future for that music, and the proof is if you travel around the country, around the world, in every college, in every city, there are groups of people, Scandinavia, Europe, everywhere in Europe, in Japan, people that are trying to emulate the unmistakable sound of the Manhattan Transfer. So the music is very much alive and well, and very much it's like classical music, you know, that it's been 300 years ago that it was written, but there are still people that are performing it nowadays, studying it nowadays, and thus giving it a life that is always there. And I think it's always going to be there, because I think that something good and something with high quality, it becomes classical and it stays forever.
Okay, let's.
Well, the thing with the close harmony is that it's very emotional. It's not modern in the sense that it's, you know, there are large intervals between the voices and the chords are dissonant and, you know, very complex. It's a very warm sound when the voices are so close together. And with men and women together, it's really a lovely timbre that happens. The men and the women create this one sound together. I mean, there were other famous vocal groups. Sometimes were all men, sometimes were all women, but the mixed gender ones are the ones we emulated.
And Janis, that again, that after such a long time of singing in that style with those closed intervals and all that, do you agree with Yaron that it's got a future, or is it something
Well, of course
from
it
the
does.
70s?
Yeah, I mean, we're all standing on the shoulders of what came before us, but there are a lot of innovators out there, young harmony groups that are taking this and running with it and doing all kinds of different things. I mean, my NYU group now is, I teach at NYU with Lauren Kinnan, my colleague, and we're teaching a close harmony 4-part vocal, and the kids love it. It's really fun, and you can't help but smile when you're singing this style.
Okay, let's have a listen to our next song. This is Why Try to Change Me Now?
I'm sentimental, so I walk in the rain. I've got some habits even I can't explain. I go to the corner, I end up in Spain. Why try to change me now? I sit and daydream, I've got daydreams galore. Cigarette ashes, there they go on the floor. I'll go away weekends, I'll leave my keys in the door. But why try to change me now? Why can't I be more conventional? People talk and they stare, so I try. But that's not for me, 'cause I can't see my kind of crazy world go passing me by. So let people wonder, let them laugh, let them frown. You know I love you till the moon's upside down. Don't you remember, I was always your clown. Why try to change me now?
So this brings us to our philosophical part of the conversation that I know everyone looks forward to every week. And it's entitled The Universal Language. Janis, starting with you and then Yaron. Janis' biographical statement concludes, quote, Siegel finds that some styles are timeless and universal, regardless of prevailing trends. Quote, I think people will always respond to emotion and to great songs sung well, end quote, she says. And I think that vocalists will always be in demand. There's nothing that approximates the human voice. When you come down to it, people want to feel something, end quote. In my experience, however, Simeon Morrow, that is rarely the case. Lay people find it harder to empathize with the performances of conservatory-trained musicians, those professionals whom Janis refers to as singing great songs well, than they do with popular music and musicians. This phenomenon may well be described in Neil Young's 1975 song Tonight's the Night. In the song, Young describes an impromptu performance by his band's stagehand, Bruce Berry, as the consummate musical act of the night. And the lyrics go, late at night when the people were gone, Bruce Berry used to pick up my guitar and sing a song in a shaky voice that was real as the day was long. So Janis and Yaron, you both started your careers around the time Bruce Berry, the amateur singer, was inspiring Neil Young, the professional. Please tell us your favorite moments of connecting with audiences and how you think those moments came to fruition, Janis.
Well, I mean, there's too many to recall one particular one. I mean, the thing that's has been most satisfying with the Manhattan Transfer is to hear from people how we've changed, how we were a part of their lives. They listened to us during a period of deep sadness, of mourning, perhaps. It comforted them, or they had our music at a wedding to celebrate a joyous occasion. But a lot of people come up to me. I mean, even when I'm out on the road, you know, doing solo work with Yaron, they come up to me and they say, you know, we listened to your music during COVID, or we listened to your music at a party. My family, my grandkids love your music. It's something a family can share, that kind of thing. We hear these stories all the time, and that is the thing that has been the most satisfying thing about being in the Manhattan Transfer, to be honest. Not really the awards or, you know, any of that accolades or that we may have accrued during our 50 years together. It's being part of people's lives, because I really do believe people, when they go out, they want to be transported. When they go out to hear music, they want to be moved. They want to feel something, whether it's tears or joy or laughter or whatever, but they want that will never change.
And Janis, do you think that you're able to get that as you want from those people because of your passion, or because of talent, or because you're going for that? Or why is it then, do you think, that these people come up to you?
Well, personally, I mean, I'm striving to communicate. I'm trying to transmit my emotional experiences through my voice. So to me, when I hear from people telling me these things, it means I've reached them.
Yaron?
Yes, just expanding on what Jenny said about the voice, I believe that the voice, the human voice, is the ultimate instrument, you know, and I think other instruments were created as a vessel through which we transport, we send our music to somebody. So when I play the piano, and I don't look at the piano as a percussive instrument or anything. It's just, I feel that at the end, the tip end of my fingers is where my voice is coming through. And of course, it's much more obvious if you play a horn, then truthfully, your voice comes through the horn. And with traveling, not as much as Janis did, because I started playing with them later, but touring the world and many times over, I also discovered the gift of meeting people in any country that I already know, because they saw me like 10 or 20 times play, and they said, "Oh, remember in 2000 and this, I really liked your solo on this thing," or whatever. It's really a gift. It's a gift that I'm so thankful for, because I believe that as an artist, many times the pat on the back or this expression of gratitude or thanks or appreciation is something that is, you really cannot hold, but you can feel it in your heart. And this is worth more than anything that you can buy anywhere. It's like when your child is born. I was thinking to myself, after my first daughter was born, I said, this is an amazing thing, because it's something that you don't buy, you don't purchase. It's something that God gives you. I don't want to get too overly dramatic, but
I
but
love
basically,
it. Go.
but basically, these are the things that I think makes it worthwhile for us, because traveling and all this stuff, the great time, the good time is the 2 hours that we spend on stage and we do what we do. Everything around it is the work. This is not the work. The playing is, or singing.
Yeah. And Simeon, if I may address the comment about the Neil Young person, Bob Barry, is that his name?
It's
Bob Barry?
Bruce Barry.
Barrow? Bruce Barry, whatever, whoever it is. I have a radio show in New York, and I play singers, and I am playing a cut by Jack Jones in the next couple of weeks. And, he was always going for the money notes and, the belting and all the dramatic things. But I'm playing something from his last recording with Joey DeFrancesco, where his voice is ravaged, but he is telling a story, and it's heartbreaking. And it's the same reason why my favorite Billie Holiday record is Lady in Satin, and not, some of the stuff with Teddy Wilson, or the early swing stuff with Benny Goodman, or, any of the earlier stuff. I love Lady in Satin because it's naked and it's raw, and you feel the person and you feel their life in it. So I think that's what Neil Young was hearing in the stagehands playing.
As real as the day was long. Wonderful. Let's have a listen to our final song of the evening. This is I've Got Your Number.
For me, you've got big things to do. Well, my wild chickadee, I've got hot news for you. I've got your number. I know you inside out. You ain't no Eagle Scout. You're all at sea. Oh yes, you'll brag a lot, wave your own flag a lot, but you're unsure a lot. You're a lot like me. I've got your number, and what you're looking for, and what you're looking for just suits me fine. We'll break the rules a lot, we'll be damn fools a lot, but then why should we not? How could we not combine when I've got your number, and I've got the glow you've got?
So final thoughts. First, let's start with Yaron and then with Janis. Yaron, what do you wish all of those who listen to this album, what would you like them to take away?
Well, I would like them to gain as much appreciation that Janis and I have to Cy Coleman's music, and to appreciate the music. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention actually the lyrics that were written for with all those songs that are like incredible lyrics, smart, with a message, and deep and funny, and I think it's a tremendous asset to the whole package of the song. When you say a song, it's the music, but the lyrics is definitely a huge part of it. So I would hope that they will appreciate, and will appreciate. We worked hard on this record, and we put a lot of love into it, and I hope it's coming through when they play it.
Janis?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been surprised by many people who, and musicians even, who don't know who Cy Coleman was and what he's done. He's part of the Great American Songbook, and also was an incredible Broadway composer, as well as a jazz pianist. So I'm hoping that people gain a greater appreciation and knowledge of Cy Coleman's work.
Okay, let's see how we can stay in touch. Or excuse me, first, how we can buy the album. It's easy enough. Go to Yaron's website, yaronmusic.com, and you can buy it right there. I believe, is that right? I just go to the store, Yaron. There it is.
Look at that.
Yes.
So good.
Also,
And
the album is available on all the platforms, so you can get it at Apple Music, you can get it Spotify, you can get it at Amazon. Everywhere that music is being sold or streamed, this album is available for you to.
Okay, great. And people can reach out to you if they have questions or comments, Yaron?
Yes, they can reach out to me, and can reach out to Janis. They can reach out to us, and we'd love to get feedback and communication, of course.
Perfect. So feel free to reach out to Yaron at yaronmusic.com. And Janis' website is janis-siegel.com. And Janis, so people can find out how to listen to your radio show and go to your concerts here. Is that right?
Well, no, I can tell you it's WBGO, which is New York, and you can stream it. Also, we're on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. It's called Singers Unlimited, and if you go to wbgo.org, there's a little button that you can press to listen to the archived show. If you're somewhere else in the world other than New York, and you don't want to get up so early.
Okay. And then on your website, people can reach out to you if they have any questions or comments?
Well, no.
Got it.
No, that email address is not active yet.
Okay, understood.
I love I'm just seeing this for the first time, that the child is on my contact page here. So yeah, my website is in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much to Janis Siegel and
Thank
to
you so
Yaron
much,
Gershovsky.
Simeon. Thank you, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you, Simeon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
So
Pleasure.
Well, let's see now what's on Vienna Live coming up. If you have any questions about upcoming shows, you can simply go to simeonmorrow.com. And while you're at it, you can sign up for the Friday greeting I send out to everyone to give them exclusive insights into upcoming shows. Next Wednesday is the original soundtrack to You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown. Sean and Jason Mendelson, the producers of this album, join us. And for the first time in history, we'll listen to some of the complete soundtrack for the 1972 animated classic Peanuts. So again, that's You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown, next Wednesday. As always, all information about upcoming shows can be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Janis Siegel and to Yaron Gershovsky. Thank you to Vienna Live
you.
sponsors, Victoria and Frederick Mulligan. Thank you to Abby Moser, Agnieszka and Benoit Rivolet, and Mary Schlesinger for their support of this show. Thanks to my cousin Mike, a marketer from Layer App. If you're an architect or an engineer, they have a really cool tool you should check out. And most of all, thanks to you, our participants who make it all worthwhile from New York City, New York, and Washington, D.C. Goodbye, and see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.